If you're looking to buy a house but are confused and don't know where to start, you are in the right place. In this video, we're going to walk you through exactly how to buy a house starting from right now where you're just getting started, you don't know where to begin, to the closing table when they hand you a set of keys and you're officially a homeowner. So stay tuned, take out your notebook, because as a real estate agent myself, there are going to be some things that we talk about today that you may not have thought about when it comes to buying a house. We're going to break this video into two separate parts, the research phase and the contract phase, and there's 4 distinct things that happen during each one of those phases, so let's talk about the research phase. During the research phase, you're just beginning your home search, you've decided you want to become a homeowner, but you don't know where to begin, and so you Google things, you go on Zillow, and maybe you watch YouTube, which is how you landed on this video. So what I'm going to tell you right off the bat is stop doing all of it. Well, except for watching this YouTube video, because then you wouldn't get anything out of it and it would be a complete waste of your time. So keep watching this, but stop doing everything else and go find yourself a great local real estate agent. So how do you do this? Well, first ask friends and family, hey, is there someone that you use to buy or sell a house that you would recommend? But don't just stop there. Go online and research the agent, look at their reviews on Google and Zillow, see if they have a presence on social media. Do some due diligence of your own before reaching out, and when you call the agent, you're going to want to ask them some specific questions to make sure they're going to be a good fit for you. We actually created another video on what to ask your realtor during the interview, so you make sure that you watch that video after this. The reason why it's super important to find a real estate agent first is because they're going to be your guide through the whole home buying process. A good agent is going to essentially hold your hand through the entire process to bring you from start to finish and connect you with all of the right people along the way, the lenders, the home inspectors, the title companies, and even local contractors. And so in my opinion, the most important part of this process is finding a great realtor. And once you've found a great realtor, ask them to connect you with a few of their preferred lenders, because the next step in the process is going to be getting pre-qualified for a mortgage. The biggest mistake that I see people making as first-time home buyers is to shop around on Zillow and Realtor.com and look at homes without having any idea of what their budget actually is and what they can afford for a house. So by speaking with a lender and going through the pre-qualification process, you will know exactly what you can afford, and also you'll know how much money you'll need to bring to the table for a down payment and closing costs. And a really great lender is even going to give you figures as to exactly what your monthly payment will be, which is super important. It's really the most important number that you need to know. Just because you're pre-qualified for a $600,000 house doesn't mean your budget will allow that. And so make sure to budget accordingly and know exactly what you can afford for a home. So now that you've found a great realtor and you know exactly what you can afford by being pre-qualified, it's time to have your agent set you up on an MLS property search. And this is going to be a little bit different than going on Zillow or Realtor.com, and that you'll have the most up-to-date information, and your agent can give you access to all of the property disclosures, the tax cards, the deeds, and important information on each property that you're interested in. So make sure you do not skip this step, because this can save you a lot of time in researching properties online prior to making the decision to go see a home, which brings us to the next step in the process. This is the fun step. It's time to start showing houses. This is the part that they show you on TV, right? Come, let us look at these houses. You've narrowed down a list of homes you want to see, and your agent has set up some showings for you. Now you get to walk through the homes and really experience what it would be like to live there. There's a crazy statistic that says a buyer will know within 30 seconds of being in a home whether they're interested in pursuing it. And that brings me to my first piece of advice for showings. Can I picture myself living there? That's the question you want to ask. If the answer is yes, then go through the home and look for any obvious and glaring issues that could be costly renovations down the road, and also get a feel for the flow of the home, picture how you might lay it out. If you were to purchase, keep in mind you're going to most likely have an inspection, so this won't be the last time you're in the house before you buy it. Once you've toured a number of homes and have found the property that you absolutely love, it's time to enter the second phase of buying a house, which is the contract phase. And specifically, it's time to write an offer. Hey, if you are enjoying this video and finding value, could you do me a huge favor and just hit the like button? I have a goal of helping 1,000 people this year buy their next or first home or investment property. And so if that's you, consider subscribing and commenting below. The most important part of writing an offer is to first determine what kind of negotiation are you in. Is this the first weekend the house was on the market? There were dozens of people at the open house, multiple offers, and a deadline of Monday at 2 p.m.? Or has this house been on the market for 60 days, no interest or offers, and the seller is highly motivated? This is going to make a huge difference in how you approach structuring your offer. So if you are in a multiple offer and looking for some secret tools that we use, we made a whole video going over how to win in a multiple offer. The link is right in the description. So now you've drafted the perfect offer with the help of your amazing real estate agent. You submit it to the seller, say a prayer, cross your fingers, and 24 hours of excruciating anticipation later, you get the news your offer has been accepted. Oh yeah! Woohoo! Oh yeah! Hold on, you haven't bought the house yet. Take a moment, celebrate. This is a big deal. It's not over, but you are one giant step closer to buying a house. You are officially under contract. So what happens next? Once you're under contract, it's generally a 30 to 45 day process to purchase the home. And the first thing that happens once you go under contract is the earnest money gets deposited. In my state, this generally happens within 3 days of going under contract. And this is the money that you put down as a buyer saying that I am earnest about buying this house. Now the amount is going to vary greatly depending upon your location and situation, so I highly encourage you to speak with your realtor as to their recommendations for this. But as a general rule of thumb, 1% of the purchase price of the home is a good place to start. Now you may be wondering, what happens if something goes wrong? Will I get this money back? That's a great question, which actually brings us to the next step in the home buying process, which is home inspection and due diligence. During this time, a licensed home inspector hired by you, the buyer, will come through the home and perform an inspection. They're going to look at things like the age of the roof, the furnace, the electrical, the plumbing, the foundation, and make comments and recommendations based on what they find. Now let's take a second and zoom out, because it's really important going into the home inspection that you as a buyer are prepared. The first thing you need to realize is that there is no such thing as a perfect house. I hate to break it to you. Every home is going to have issues in it. And it's the job of the home inspector to discover those issues, so don't be shocked when they do. The way that I look at a home inspection is like being handed a manual to your house, just like for your car, and showing you the things that you need to be aware of. There's really 3 categories of issues that come up. The first is small issues that don't need to be addressed. For example, almost every home inspection that I've ever had has discovered a window or two that has some moisture in it because one of the seals is broken. That's a small issue in my opinion. It doesn't need to be addressed. Then there are 3 to 5 years down the road issues. This could be the furnace is older, it's still running fine. Just know that you may need to replace it down the road, and so budget accordingly. And the final thing that you're looking for in the home inspection is serious health and safety issues. These are items that need to be addressed prior to closing. For example, the septic system has failed. It's backing up into the house. The foundation is cracked. The home is falling over, right? There's high levels of radon in the basement. These issues are big, costly things that need immediate attention, and when discovered during the home inspection, provide an opportunity for you as the buyer to do one of 3 things. You can either A, accept it as is, B, renegotiate the terms of the contract, and this could look like I want it fixed before closing, or I want money off the purchase price, or C, terminate the contract. Now, if you do decide to terminate the contract during your due diligence period, you get your earnest money back. So I always encourage my clients to have a home inspection because it really educates you as a buyer, especially if this is your first home. Make sure that you go to the home inspection, physically be there. You're gonna learn so much about your house. It's gonna be so helpful for you. You know, I still go into home inspections, and every time I'm there, I learn something new, and I always encourage my clients to attend the inspection if they can. So now once you've made it through the inspection process, the next part of the home buying process is the appraisal. If you are a cash buyer, then you won't need to worry about this, but if you are financing, then the lender will order a third-party appraiser to come in and assess the home's value to determine whether or not the agreed upon purchase price is equal to or less than the appraised value. In simple terms, somebody is going to come out to the house and make sure that it's worth what you're paying for. This is great because it protects you as the buyer. However, if the appraisal does come in lower than the purchase price, now you're in another stage of negotiation. The bank is not going to loan more money than the property appraises for. So let's say you're under contract for $500,000 and the appraisal comes in at $490,000. Well, there's $10,000 now that needs to be made up somehow. So in general, the way that I see these things work out is the buyer brings an extra $5,000 and the seller drops the purchase price by $5,000. I've also had the seller just completely drop the purchase price $10,000. I've also had a situation where buyers say right off the bat, hey, if the appraisal comes in low, I'll make up the difference in cash to make their offer more competitive. So once you've worked through the appraisal, the only thing left to do is close. On closing day or the day before, you'll do a final walkthrough to make sure the home is in broom swept condition and anything agreed upon during the inspection is taken care of. Then you and the seller will meet at an agreed upon location, usually a real estate or title office, sit down at the table, sign what feels like 4,000 documents, all saying essentially the same thing: pay your mortgage, and oh yeah, pay your mortgage. After that, you'll be handed a set of shiny new keys because congratulations, you are now a homeowner. I hope you found this video helpful. It's time to go out there and actually do it. And make sure to watch our other videos with helpful tips, hacks, and up-to-date real estate information.